I was rewatching the movie Three Idiots the other night, and I got stuck on this one character, the dean they called viruses. You remember him, right?
Oh, yeah. The
Okay.
guy marching around, very proud, declaring, "Life's a race. If you don't run fast, you'll be a broken egg." Definitely memorable.
Exactly. He was like the poster child for hypercompetitiveness. Convinced, absolutely convinced that you either trample over others to get ahead or you get trampled yourself.
And that philosophy, it's not just fiction, is it? You hear echoes of it everywhere.
Everywhere. Hustle harder, outwork the competition. If you're not first or last, We're all handed a report card or a sales target, maybe a promotion ladder, and told to climb faster than the person next to us.
It's sort of baked into a lot of systems.
It really is. And for a long time, I think, oh, well, a part of me just accepted that. It's a terrifying way to see the world, but it's also simple, I guess.
Simple but brutal.
But watching it this time, a different thought hit me. What if Virus, with all his certainty and his, impressive title, what if he was completely and fundamentally wrong?
Interesting question.
What if life isn't a single frantic race at all? And if that's true, then what is all this running and climbing actually for?
Right. What's the real goal behind the sprint?
So, welcome to this deep dive. We're going to unpack this very idea. For you, we've pulled together some pretty fascinating insights from recent research and also looked at some real-world company cultures that directly challenge this life's a race mentality.
Yeah, the counter-narrative is definitely out there.
Our mission today is really to explore what truly drives us, deep down, how effective leadership genuinely shapes our professional experience, and critically, how we can maybe craft a career journey that's far more about, let's say, sustainable fulfillment,
Yeah.
authentic growth,
Yeah.
rather than just frantic, often self-defeating competition.
Finding a better way, essentially.
Okay, let's really dig into this. So, that run fast or be a broken egg philosophy. It has a certain pull, doesn't it? An initial appeal.
It does. It seems to offer clarity. A clear path, even if it's, well, a brutal one.
Yeah, you know exactly where you stand. The rules, however harsh, seem incredibly simple. Just be better, faster than everyone else. It promises this straightforward path forward. But I can't help wondering if it's a path that ultimately leads straight off a cliff.
Well, it's true that aggressive push for speed can be seductive. But what's truly fascinating here, and I think often overlooked, is how this intense, hyper-competitive mindset fundamentally confuses urgency with importance.
Okay. Urgency versus importance. Explain that a bit.
Well, it pushes individuals and actually entire organizations into this constant state of acceleration. Everything feels like an emergency, right? Which inevitably leads directly to burnout, not genuine long-term success.
So you're rushing, but maybe not towards the right things.
Exactly. Are you rushing towards something truly valuable or just rushing because everyone else seems to be? In these environments, an individual's worth becomes almost solely measured by their rank, their position on some leaderboard, or their immediate, often pretty superficial results.
And things like deep learning or careful planning get pushed aside.
Precisely. Sustained contribution, deep learning, even strategic thinking often becomes secondary to just getting those quick wins. And that, in the long run, can be incredibly damaging.
So it's not just about feeling stressed out. It's like a systemic misdirection of energy. It stops real value from being created.
That's a good way to put it.
And the real-world impact of this mindset is quite stark, isn't it? I saw a recent study, I think it was, 42% of employees feel that executives actively promote unhealthy competition within their organizations.
42%. That's a huge number. Nearly half the workforce feeling like the people at the top are encouraging this race.
And it's not just a feeling, right? The study suggested it actively leads to reduced collaboration and, kind of ironically, a drop in overall productivity.
That makes perfect sense. They're trying to speed things up, but they're actually slowing down the whole system.
How does that work? How does that unhealthy competition kill productivity?
Well, the survival of the fittest idea, when you apply it wrongly in a workplace, it's incredibly damaging because it fundamentally erodes trust.
Right, trust between colleagues.
Exactly. If everyone around you is a competitor, are you really going to share that innovative idea you just had? Or are you going to hoard it, afraid someone else might get the credit or use it to get ahead of you?
Good point. You'd hold back.
You hold back. Information gets siloed. Collective problem solving just doesn't happen effectively. And that severely hinders an organization's ability to adapt, to innovate, especially in today's market.
And then there's the personal toll.
Oh, absolutely. Beyond the organizational impact, it creates chronic stress. This pervasive, just insidious force. Employees feel this constant, relentless pressure to outperform their peers. And that often forces them to sacrifice their personal well-being. Their health suffers, family time disappears. It becomes a much larger systemic issue impacting everyone.
It really is like trying to win a marathon by sprinting the whole way.
You said it. You'll just collapse long before the finish line. It's unsustainable.
That image, sprinting a marathon, it vividly brings to mind this anecdote I heard. From a friend, actually, works in management consulting in Mumbai. A field notorious for pressure.
Oh, definitely. High pressure environment.
She used to work under this director who was, to her, a real-life virus. Everything, and I mean everything, was framed as a race. Team members were publicly ranked on a digital leaderboard.
Oh no, public ranking.
Yep. For billable hours, client acquisition, updated in real time for everyone to see. The office atmosphere, she said, was just thick with tension, rivalry. People would hoard client insights, project learnings, anything for an edge.
That sounds toxic.
She told me burnout wasn't just common, it was almost like a badge of honor, a sign you were committed. And in that environment, true innovation, it just died. Nobody dared risk failure. Any perceived misstep could cost you your spot on that leaderboard.
Wow. That anecdote just perfectly illustrates the broader implications, doesn't it? These hyper-competitive cultures, they might look fast and dynamic on the surface, pushing people to their limits.
But underneath,
Underneath, they're inherently fragile. It's simply unsustainable in the long run. That immediate drive for quick wins, fueled by fear and comparison, it often leads to really high employee turnover. People just break under the strain eventually.
and then you lose all that knowledge and experience walking out the door.
Exactly. Institutional knowledge is lost, team cohesion just crumbles, and the ability to execute complex, long-term strategies gets severely undermined. It proves that just running fast, without a deeper purpose or a supportive structure, it doesn't lead to breakthroughs. It leads directly to breakdown for the individual and for the organization.
And when we talk about these high-pressure competitive places, burnout, it always comes up. But it's crucial, isn't it, to understand that burnout is way more than just feeling a bit tired.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just, I need a long weekend. Burnout is a progressive condition. It stems from prolonged workplace stress, and it was officially recognized by the World Health Organization back in 2019 as an occupational phenomenon.
So it's a recognized workplace issue, not just a personal failing.
Precisely. And often, the triggers are systemic, not just individual. Things like excessively long work hours, a persistent lack of control over your own tasks and schedule, not getting enough recognition for your efforts. Feeling invisible, basically.
And remote work hasn't exactly helped, has it?
Well, it's complicated things. For many, it's blurred those traditional boundaries between professional and personal life. That always-on culture means the workday often just stretches and stretches, making it incredibly hard to truly disconnect and recover. All of that feeds into this chronic, debilitating stress.
And the impact on actual performance, it must be significant.
It's direct and pervasive. When someone's suffering from burnout, you start seeing a noticeable decline in their work quality. More errors creep in, creativity and focus just plummet. They might start missing deadlines, making poor decisions.
And the personal cost, mental health.
The risks are much higher for serious mental health conditions like depression, anxiety disorders. Even physical ailments are linked to chronic stress. And for organizations, this isn't just a people problem. These stress-related issues cost billions every year. Lost productivity, yes, but also high turnover as people leave seeking healthier environments. It's a massive financial drain, too.
It really makes me pause and consider this relentless pursuit of being first, being the best. It can actually be completely self-defeating, can it? Like you're trying to win a race, but you keep tripping yourself every few steps. The very thing you're striving for just slips further away.
That's a very apt way to put it. The effort itself becomes the obstacle.
And it's not just in the office, is it? This pressure, this race mentality. It feels like it's amplified dramatically by our digital lives, social media especially.
Oh, absolutely. It throws gasoline on the fire of constant comparison. It makes it feel like everyone else is hitting these milestones that you're somehow missing.
Yeah, those perfect feeds.
It's a crucial point, actually, and it highlights a core truth. Comparison, especially when you use someone else's seemingly perfect path as the only scale for your own success, well, it's the enemy of progress, of contentment.
It feels like we're just bombarded, these curated highlight reels, perfect vacations, dream jobs, effortless successes.
Exactly. It makes it feel like everyone else is living this charmed life. And this digital environment, it's so rich in choice and social signals. It gives rise to these two distinct but related phenomena that can just paralyze us. FOMO, the fear of missing out, and FOBO.
Fewer better options.
Right.
Yeah.
Both are deeply rooted in this abundance of choices we face, and they're significantly exacerbated by the way social networks present this endless scroll of possibilities and perceived achievements.
Well, okay. FOMO is that nagging feeling, that anxiety that something great is happening without you, drives you to constantly check your phone.
Hmm.
While FOBO is almost the opposite, like the fear of making the wrong choice, so you just freeze.
Exactly. It's this insidious trap. Social media platforms, honestly, by their very design, create this illusion that everyone else is consistently more successful, wealthier, more fulfilled than you are.
Just the highlights, none of the struggle.
Precisely. That constant exposure to their highlight reels, not the messy reality, it feeds into these deep-seated feelings of inadequacy, insecurity. And this isn't just about feeling bad. It translates into real-world consequences, like chronic indecision.
Spending hours choosing between two almost identical things.
Exactly. Wasting immense amounts of time analyzing endless alternatives, weighing options that are often quite similar. And crucially, this often results in a genuine loss of opportunities because people become so risk-averse. They're constantly fearing they might pick the wrong one, or that there's always a better option just around the corner if they just keep looking.
And beyond the emotional side, there's a cognitive hit too, from all this digital distraction.
Oh, a significant one. Social media fragments our attention, right?
Yeah.
Pulls us into multiple directions at once. And research in cognitive neuroscience is really clear. The human brain isn't built for multitasking. It performs best with deep, uninterrupted focus.
So every time you switch from work to check a notification.
That's task switching.
Yeah.
And it increases cognitive load dramatically. Each time you shift focus, even for a few seconds, your brain has to reorient itself. That causes these switching costs, extra mental effort, lost time just getting back into the flow.
It's like restarting a computer program every 5 minutes.
That's a great analogy. You lose processing power and time. And it's compounded by how these platforms are engineered. They activate dopamine-driven reward mechanisms.
Ah, the dopamine hit.
Yep, that neurotransmitter for pleasure, motivation.
Mm-hmm.
It gets released when you get a notification, a like, a comment. It creates this powerful, often addictive feedback loop, encouraging habitual checking, even when you don't need to.
And because you don't know when the next notification will come.
That's variable reinforcement. Makes it incredibly hard to resist checking again and again. Your brain's always anticipating that next little reward. Over time, this habit significantly shortens attention spans, increases procrastination, and ultimately lowers your overall work efficiency and cognitive performance. It's just a constant drain on your mental battery.
That constant drain, it's so relatable. I heard about this young graphic designer, let's call her Amelia, freelancing from her place in London. Super talented, really passionate.
Okay.
But her biggest enemy wasn't a demanding client. It was her Instagram feed. Every morning, she'd scroll through this curated world of success, see a former classmate's amazing work in a big publication, appear announcing a promotion at some top agency, endless posts of perfect award-winning projects.
Oh, I can see where this is going.
Yeah. With every scroll, her own work just felt smaller, less significant. The comparison became this constant, paralyzing whisper in her head. You're not good enough? You're falling behind? Why even bother if it's not going to be that good?
That's crushing.
Her productivity just plummeted. She was terrified of creating something that wouldn't measure up to these, like, digital ghosts on her screen, spending hours agonizing over a single design element, never feeling it was original enough or brilliant enough.
It steals the joy out of the process.
Completely.
Yeah.
So one day, totally overwhelmed, basically on the verge of tears, she just deactivated all her professional social media accounts for a week.
Wow, cold turkey.
Cold turkey. The first 2 days, pure agony. Anxiety, the deepest FOMO, constantly reaching for her phone, feeling totally disconnected. But then this quiet settled in.
Interesting.
She started designing for herself again. Not for likes, not for validation. She started experimenting with this quirky, really personal illustration style she'd loved back in art school but had abandoned for more marketable trends. She just got lost in it, rediscovered that joy of creation, that flow state. Exactly. End of the week, feeling genuinely refreshed, creatively alive, she reactivated her accounts, posted some of her new, authentic work, and guess what? Within days, she landed this small but incredibly meaningful project from a local business that just fell in love with her unique style, the very style she was too scared to pursue a week before.
That's a fantastic story. And Amelia's experience is such a powerful testament to what so many of us face in this hyper-digital age, right?
Yeah.
Social comparison isn't new, but platforms like LinkedIn, Instagram, they amplify it to an almost unbearable degree. They create this distorted reality where everyone else seems to be effortlessly sprinting ahead.
It's so easy to get sucked in.
It really is. Her story is a powerful reminder that the only authentic and honestly the only truly sustainable career trajectory is your own. It takes immense courage to mute that incessant noise of others' highlight reels, to stop measuring your own marathon by someone else's manufactured finish line, and to deliberately find your own rhythm, your own pace.
And ironically, that's often where the real success lies.
Often, yes. True fulfillment and often greater professional success frequently lie in that unique path we carve when we stop trying to run in someone else's lane and instead trust our own creative compass.
Okay, so if the virus mentality leads to burnout and paralysis, and the digital world just makes it worse, what is the alternative? We clearly need a more positive, sustainable approach, something that fosters genuine growth, well-being.
Mhm.
Which brings us back to Three Idiots, actually. To Ranchadas, the hero who championed that totally different philosophy, chase excellence and success will follow.
Yes, it's such a profound shift in perspective.
A total contrast to run fast or be a broken egg.
It really shifts the whole paradigm, doesn't it? From external validation ranks, rewards, beating others to internal drive. It emphasizes learning that's fueled by genuine curiosity, by desire for mastery itself, not by comparison or fear of failure.
So it's about the process, not just the outcome.
Exactly. It's about deeply understanding and appreciating the journey, celebrating the progress you make along the way, rather than fixating solely on your position relative to others or some abstract finish line. This mindset naturally fosters deeper growth. It encourages people to really delve into their work, to master skills for their inherent value, their intellectual satisfaction, not just for a competitive edge. It cultivates an environment where the quality of contribution becomes paramount over just sheer quantity or speed.
And tying back to that earlier point, this alternative approach, it makes a massive difference in the real world. Remember that anecdote about my friend in Mumbai?
The management consultant, yes.
Right. The initial director, the virus, had that brutal leaderboard environment, but then a new director came in and everything changed. My friend described it like going from a gladiator pit to a flourishing garden.
That's a perfect example of leadership transforming a culture. The new director, she championed this excellence-driven approach, and her first act was symbolically huge. She took down the public leaderboard.
Sent a clear message right away.
An unequivocal signal, shift away from individual rivalry. Instead, she actively encouraged collaboration, promoted a culture where insights were openly shared, where team successes were celebrated collectively, not just singling out individual winners.
And the result?
The transformation my friend saw was profound. Stress, well, it was still there. It's a demanding job, but it became constructive, focused on doing brilliant work together, not on outmaneuvering colleagues. This shift led to the team tackling bigger, more innovative projects, taking real pride in their shared accomplishments. And significantly, employee turnover plummeted.
Wow.
It just vividly demonstrates that sustainable success isn't brutally forged in some gladiator pit of constant unhealthy competition. It's cultivated, like you said, in a well-tended garden, where growth is nurtured through psychological safety, collaboration, and a shared pursuit of quality.
A garden versus a gladiator pit. I like that. So, if we want to cultivate that garden, what does it really take for leaders? How do they inspire this kind of excellence, nurture genuine engagement instead of just demanding compliance?
It hinges entirely on understanding and fostering intrinsic motivation.
Okay, intrinsic motivation, the internal drive.
Exactly. It's the drive to do something because it's inherently interesting, enjoyable, satisfying in itself. Not just for external rewards like bonuses or pressures like those public rankings. It's the difference between doing something because you have to versus doing it because you want to.
And that's key for quality work and well-being.
Absolutely. This intrinsic drive is what leads to higher quality performance. It fuels genuine creativity, and it's crucial for long-term psychological well-being. Without it, work just becomes a chore, an engagement. It's just a facade.
So how do leaders tap into that?
Well, at the heart of understanding this is something called self-determination theory, or SDT. It's a framework suggesting all humans have three basic psychological needs. When these needs are met, people experience optimal functioning, growth, and crucially, that intrinsic motivation.
Okay, 3 basic needs. What are they?
First, there's the need for competence. That's our innate desire to feel effective, capable, masterful in what we do, feeling like you can handle challenges, achieve outcomes.
Makes sense. Feeling capable.
Second, autonomy. The need to feel like you're the origin of your own behaviors, your choices. Having a sense of control, self-direction over your tasks, feeling like your actions are yours, not just dictated.
Okay, control and choice.
And third, relatedness. The need to feel a sense of meaningful connection, belonging, care with others, feeling supported, connected within your team, your organization.
Competence, autonomy, relatedness. CAR. Okay.
Exactly. And a recent meta-analysis, a huge study combining results from 50 different research samples, over 21,000 people, gave some really compelling insights into how different leadership styles specifically impact intrinsic motivation by meeting these needs.
What did it find? Which styles work?
It found several positive leadership styles
Yeah.
were all positively related to intrinsic motivation, specifically transformational, ethical, servant, empowering leadership,
Yeah.
and also leader-member exchange, or LMX.
LMX, what's that again?
That's basically the quality of the unique relationship you have with your direct manager, how much trust, respect, mutual obligation exists between you two.
Got it. So those are the good ones. What about the bad ones?
Well, on the flip side, and this is a stark warning, abusive supervision,
Hmm.
hostile verbal, nonverbal behaviors was found to be negatively and moderately related to intrinsic motivation, a significant negative correlation. It just hammers home the severe detrimental effect a toxic leader can have on someone's internal drive and well-being.
Destroys motivation. No surprise there.
But here's where it got even more nuanced and, frankly, quite surprising. While all those positive styles are good, the study revealed they varied quite a bit in their relative importance for boosting intrinsic motivation.
Oh, so some are better than others at this.
It seems so. Some leadership styles actually contribute even more to fostering intrinsic motivation than the often praised transformational leadership.
Like which ones?
Well, empowering leadership, for instance. This style focuses on sharing power, giving motivational support, encouraging development. It showed a significantly greater contribution to intrinsic motivation compared to transformational, which makes sense, right? It directly hits that need for autonomy.
Yeah, giving people power over their work.
Then there's servant leadership. This also played a more important role. This style is inherently other-oriented. The leader prioritizes individual needs, empowers followers by putting their growth first, focuses on serving their development. It supports both relatedness and competence needs really well.
Putting the team first.
And interestingly, ethical leadership. You might assume it's less about motivation than, say, a charismatic transformational leader, but it actually contributed more. Ethical leaders, with their emphasis on fairness, appropriate conduct, genuine care, they foster this deep sense of relatedness and trust.
Yeah.
That trusted environment might even protect autonomy in ways some transformational styles don't.
Huh. So being fair and trustworthy is actually more motivating.
In this context, for intrinsic motivation, yes, more so than just charisma alone, it seems. Leader-member exchange, LMX, that quality relationship, and transformational leadership played a similar important role, but slightly less potent than empowering servant and ethical leadership for driving that internal spark.
So what this all really boils down to is leaders have this huge, maybe often underestimated impact on whether we feel genuinely driven, engaged, or just drained and obligated.
Profound impact, yes.
It's not just about setting a big vision. It's about how they interact with us day to day, how they empower us, serve us, how ethically they behave. That specific way they lead feeds directly into those basic psychological needs, shaping our whole experience at work.
Absolutely. Choosing the right leader or being the right leader isn't just a perk. It's essential for well-being and performance.
And this links directly to company culture, right? The leadership sets the tone.
Absolutely crucial link. A strong, positive workplace culture, one that supports those basic needs we talked about, competence, autonomy, relatedness. It significantly boosts productivity, agility, engagement, and importantly, innovation. We see this playing out in many really successful companies that consciously reject that old race mentality.
Can you give some examples? How do they do it differently?
Sure. Think about Pixar. Their whole creative culture is meticulously designed for psychological safety. They want people to share ugly babies, those early fragile ideas.
Right, before they're perfect.
Exactly. They use radical candor. Feedback is on the work, not the person. So ideas get critiqued, improved, without people feeling personally attacked. Showing works in progress, even embarrassing ones, is expected because the goal is collective improvement.
That takes a lot of trust.
It does. Or look at Netflix, their famous freedom and responsibility culture. They prioritize people even over process. Give employees significant autonomy. Managers provide clear context, goals, then trust their A-player employees to figure out the how. It's that highly aligned, loosely coupled idea, clear direction, but lots of freedom in execution.
What about places known for being, well, happier?
Southwest Airlines comes to mind, a genuinely fun and loving culture. They put employees first, believing happy employees lead to happy customers.
Mm.
Lots of appreciation, recognition, celebration. They even do culture blitzes where leaders visit airports, help staff, sometimes even clean planes so crews can leave early. Tangible appreciation.
That's pretty cool. Any others?
Slack, they mirror their product.
Mm.
Open communication by default, transparency. But crucially, clear boundaries. They actively discourage, sometimes forbid, using Slack after 6 p.m. or on weekends. Real work-life separation enforced.
Boundaries are key.
Atlassian gets that innovation needs autonomy, time, and tolerance for failure. Peer-to-peer feedback is big. Unique perks, too, like paid vacation before you start, and their famous 20% discovery time for side projects. Fosters ownership, creativity.
What about companies driven by purpose?
Patagonia is the classic example, an uncompany driven by a mission to save the planet. Their whole business, their culture, revolves around this. Proves that being purpose-driven, ethical, isn't counter to financial success. It can drive it. Attracts passionate talent.
Even Amazon. They have a reputation for being tough.
It's a nuanced view. While sometimes seen as aggressive, their day-one mentality is interesting. It's about staying agile like a startup, customer-obsessed, constantly innovating, resisting complacency, always acting like it's their first day, planting many seeds for future growth, challenging conventions. It's a different flavor of pushing boundaries.
So these diverse companies, different styles, how do they succeed without burning everyone out in this relentless race?
Well, I think it raises that important question for all of us. How do they do it? And the answer, time and again, seems to be about intentionally designing environments that support intrinsic motivation and human flourishing, prioritizing psychological safety, real collaboration, a shared purpose, respect for well-being. Instead of just that dog-eat-dog competition, they build cultures where people want to give their best, not where they fear not giving enough.
Okay, so this idea of life as just one constant frantic race, it's clearly draining, it leads to burnout, and as we've seen, paradoxically, often less productivity. But what if we thought about it differently? What if our career, maybe life itself, is more like a curated playlist? A playlist, I like that. Different tempos, different moods. Exactly. Different tempos, rhythms, maybe even genres, requiring different approaches at different times.
That's a fantastic analogy. It perfectly captures the essence of what some call the hybrid approach to career planning and management. Life isn't just one long, relentless sprint, nor is it simply an endless, steady marathon.
It's a mix.
It's a dynamic mix. Short, intense sprints when a burst of focused effort is genuinely needed, but interwoven with longer, more sustainable stretches of steady work, reflection, and importantly, recovery. The real skill then becomes knowing when to switch gears wisely, adapting your pace to the demands of the moment, the project, even your own energy levels, without losing sight of the bigger picture or sacrificing your well-being.
Being intentional with your energy, not just your time.
Precisely.
That makes so much sense. I came across this really vivid story online, just a small personal account. A software engineer in Tokyo, let's call him Kenji.
Right.
He was on a team developing a new AI logistics platform. Huge pressure, felt like impossible deadlines. For the first 6 months, relentless sprint. His life just shrank to his monitor, fueled by convenience store coffee, ramen, and this constant gnawing fear of falling behind.
Sounds familiar, unfortunately.
He described this moment, staring at a bug in his code at 3 a.m., the lines blurring, feeling this profound emptiness. Realized he hadn't had a real conversation with his wife in weeks, hadn't seen daylight outside his office window. He was burning out fast, and the quality of his code actually starting to suffer despite the crazy hours.
The law of diminishing returns hitting hard.
Totally. His project lead, this veteran programmer, Mr. Tanaka, noticed, saw this alarming trajectory. But instead of pushing him harder, Tanaka took Kenji aside, told him, calmly but firmly, "Kenji-san, you are treating a marathon like a series of 100-meter dashes. You will collapse before the finish line and take the project with you."
Wow, direct but wise advice.
Right. And he helped Kenji restructure his workflow. Not by cutting the workload, but by intelligently integrating periods of intense focus with mandatories.
Yeah, he called them jog.
Jogs. Okay, I like that too. These weren't just coffee breaks. They were deliberately scheduled periods for documentation, for refactoring code, improving efficiency, or sometimes just walking in the park nearby, clearing his head, letting ideas percolate.
Building in that recovery and reflection time.
It was a revelation for Kenji. He started managing his energy, recognizing his peak productive hours for sprints, scheduling less demanding tasks for the jog phases. The project was still super demanding, but that pervasive dread, gone, replaced by this focused, sustainable drive. They launched successfully. And Kenji said the biggest win wasn't just the product, it was learning that the fastest way to the finish line isn't always a straight, frantic line. Sometimes it's about finding your rhythm.
Kenji's realization is incredibly insightful. It highlights that profound importance of managing your energy, not just rigidly managing your time blocks. This hybrid model, the sprints and jogs idea, it's absolutely crucial for long-term career development, for navigating complex projects, especially in competitive environments.
It avoids the crash and burn.
Exactly. It teaches us that while some moments truly demand an all-out burst of sprint making, that the default mode inevitably leads to burnout. You sacrifice well-being, yes, but also creativity, problem-solving, overall effectiveness. The real wisdom is knowing when to push the throttle hard and when to deliberately ease back. Allow for recovery, reflection, ensure you can actually complete the whole journey and do deep, meaningful work sustainably. It's about building endurance, not just raw speed.
Yeah, so if we're not just running this frantic race and we're aiming for that sustainable success, that well-being, how do we intentionally design our careers to reflect this hybrid approach? How do we set goals that actually support this?
Well, it fundamentally starts by building a career path that's deeply rooted in your positive personal potential. Your unique individual resources, what you're good at, what you enjoy, what you want to learn. You need to understand what genuinely drives you, not what others expect should drive you.
Knowing yourself first.
Absolutely. John Lees, the career coach, suggests asking yourself 3 key questions. They sound simple, but they're powerful for setting meaningful career goals.
Oh, okay, what are they?
1, what kind of work do I find stimulating or inspiring? Not just what you're good at, but what genuinely ignites your curiosity, your passion, what makes you want to engage.
The intrinsic motivation piece again?
Precisely. 2, what organizational problems are visible? This shifts your focus. From just your skills to how you can apply them to solve real needs in your current place or a place you want to be, seeing opportunities to add value.
Okay, connecting passion to needs.
And 3, how can I exploit this? Maybe a bit provocative wording, but it encourages you to think proactively, strategically, in terms of projects, organizational needs. How can you leverage your passions and those visible problems to create impactful initiatives or even roles for yourself?
Taking initiative based on that alignment. Got it. How does this relate to setting actual goals, short-term, long-term?
It helps differentiate them, applying that hybrid mindset again. Short-term goals, maybe looking 12 to 18 months out, should focus intensely on skill and knowledge acquisition. Identify specific areas you need to grow, actively seek learning opportunities, aim for exposure to diverse expertise, multidisciplinary experience. Think of these as project stages, learning challenges, building blocks for your CV. Review them annually, see how your interests evolve.
Like focused learning sprints?
Kinda, yeah. Long-term goals, on the other hand, involve picking broader areas to specialize in over several years. This requires taking, as Lees puts it, accurate soundings from a range of people and organizations. Talk to mentors, industry experts, headhunters. Understand market trends where your skills might be most valuable down the line.
More like the marathon direction.
Exactly. And it's crucial to develop the foresight to know when to shift focus, when to strategically transfer your skills as industries change. Regularly checking in with HR or recruitment specialists, say every 2 or 3 years, can provide invaluable market insights and help you fine-tune that long-term trajectory.
And keeping track of all this, is that important?
Absolutely vital. For both types of goals, meticulously record your objectives, your achievements, your continuing professional development, CPD skills learned, courses taken. As one expert noted, logging these makes them more real, gives them tangible weight, makes them easier to achieve than just vague ideas floating in your head. It provides evidence of progress, supports professional registration if needed, and helps you stay aligned with your chosen path rather than just drifting along.
Okay, that sounds like a really smart framework. But practically, day to day, how do we apply this rhythm? How do we build those sustainable habits to actually avoid burnout?
Right, the practical application. Building sustainable work habits and resilience is paramount. It's about working smarter, respecting your energy. One really effective research-backed strategy is the 90-minute focus block method.
90-minute blocks, tell me more.
Studies suggest our peak concentration typically lasts about 90 minutes before focus naturally wanes. So the idea is to intentionally structure your workday into these concentrated 90-minute work blocks, followed by mandatory 10 to 15-minute breaks, real breaks to genuinely recharge.
And prioritize tough tasks in those blocks.
Ideally, yes. Aim to tackle your most challenging, cognitively demanding tasks during your natural energy highs, often in the morning for many people. Try for maybe 3 or 4 such focus blocks daily. And during those breaks, don't just check email. Get up, move, grab water, stare out a window. Give your brain a proper reset.
What about recovery after big projects?
Equally important is designing recovery periods, not just hoping for them. After a major project, an intense sprint, taking dedicated time off, maybe even a week if possible, isn't a luxury. It's an essential investment for sustained high performance. It lets you wrap up tasks, celebrate milestones, and critically recharge mentally and physically away from work pressures.
So it's less about time management, more about energy management.
That's a key shift, a deliberate, conscious shift towards energy management. Actively integrating strategic breaks, maybe mindfulness practices like short meditations, personal routines that promote recovery throughout your day and week. Don't wait until you're totally depleted.
What other practical things help build this sustainable rhythm?
Well, several things contribute. Encouraging genuine work-life balance, flexible arrangements where possible, clear boundaries, discouraging after-hours messages, promoting a culture where disconnecting is okay, making sure people take adequate time off, smart goal setting, using SMART goal-specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound, prevents stress from vague or impossible targets, provides a clear roadmap, improving efficiency, automating repetitive tasks, optimizing workflows to reduce friction. Encouraging short, regular breaks actually boosts concentration and creativity by allowing for that diffuse thinking. Fostering a positive work environment, beyond perks. Actively recognizing achievements, encouraging collaboration over competition, providing robust mental well-being support counseling, stress management programs, and crucially, leading by example. Leaders must visibly demonstrate work-life balance themselves, communicate realistic expectations, show empathy. When leaders prioritize their own well-being, it sets a powerful, healthy tone for everyone.
Okay, so those are great external strategies. What about tapping into our inner resources, our personal strengths, our outlook? How does that fit into crafting a fulfilling, sustainable career?
This is where positive psychology offers really valuable insights. Moving beyond just skills and competencies to leverage our inherent virtues and character strengths. Martin Seligman's work on subjective well-being, his PERMA model.
PERMA, remind me what that stands for.
Sure. Positive emotions, engagement, that flow state, relationships, positive connections, meaning serving something larger than yourself, and accomplishments, a sense of achievement. Seligman argues true happiness, true fulfillment, comes from recognizing and consciously using our unique positive attributes in all aspects of life, including work, building a career that aligns with your best self.
So understanding our strengths is key.
Exactly. And the VIA classification of virtues and strengths is a helpful tool here. It categorizes 24 universally recognized character strengths under 6 core virtues. These are valued across cultures, across time. Knowing yours can be like a compass for career design.
What are the 6 virtues?
Okay, quickly. Wisdom and knowledge. Strengths like creativity, curiosity, open-mindedness, love of learning, perspective. Using your mind to explore, create. Courage, honesty, bravery, persistence, zest, that vitality, enthusiasm, overcoming obstacles, humanity, connecting with others, love, kindness, social intelligence, justice, fairness, leadership, teamwork, fostering healthy community, temperance, managing excesses, forgiveness, modesty, prudence, self-regulation, transcendence, connecting to something larger, appreciation of beauty, excellence, gratitude, hope, humor, spirituality.
That's quite a list. How do people typically view these in relation to careers?
Well, there was a fascinating study comparing Polish and foreign students on this. Both groups highly valued wisdom and knowledge as foundational for career success. Makes sense, right? You need skills, knowledge.
Sure. What about the others?
Transcendence and temperance were often ranked lower, maybe because their practical application in the job market feels less direct, especially for younger people. However, and this is critical, the study specifically identified transcendence and humanity as significant predictors of overall positive orientation. Meaning they were strongly associated with higher levels of well-being, life satisfaction. It highlights that cultivating these inner strengths, your capacity for connection, gratitude, hope, purpose, can directly contribute to a more positive outlook, greater resilience, and ultimately a more deeply fulfilling career path.
Yeah.
It moves you far beyond just chasing external achievements.
That's a really profound thought. It brings it back inside, doesn't it? That true success, lasting fulfillment, it's deeply intertwined with who we are, what we genuinely value, not just what we achieve on some leaderboard or how fast we run compared to the next person.
Mhm.
It's about aligning our professional journey with our authentic self, recognizing, leveraging those deep internal strengths that make us uniquely us. Hashtag outro. So we started this deep dive by questioning that relentless life's a race mentality. And what we've discovered, I think, is this really rich landscape of alternatives, paths that offer a far more sustainable and frankly more fulfilling way forward.
Definitely. We've seen how that relentless, unhealthy competition just leads to burnout, erodes trust, stifles creativity.
And how the digital comparison game with FOMO and FOBO can paralyze us with anxiety, pull us right off our own authentic path.
Indeed. But we've also learned that leadership styles have this profound impact on our intrinsic motivation. Empowering, servant, ethical leadership, they seem to make an even bigger difference than traditional transformational styles by directly feeding those basic human needs for autonomy, relatedness, competence.
Right. And we saw how company cultures that really prioritize psychological safety, genuine collaboration, a clear purpose like Pixar, Patagonia, they ultimately achieve greater innovation and long-term sustainable success for everyone.
And on a personal level, we now know we could adopt that hybrid sprint and marathon or sprint and jog approach. We can strategically leverage our unique character strengths, implement conscious strategies to manage our energy, and proactively avoid burnout.
Yeah, it's about being like Kenji, learning to switch gears, pace himself, build in those jogs, or like that Mumbai team, thriving under a leader who chose excellence over just ruthless competition.
It really is about building a career that truly resonates with you. One that leverages your unique strength, your passions, not just one that looks good on someone else's highlight reel or measures up to someone else's definition of first.
When we really recognize that our professional journey is uniquely our own and that we actually have the tools to design it with intention, with self-awareness, we can move beyond just reacting to the demands of the race, can't we?
We gain that agency back. We can actively cultivate an environment, both inside ourselves and in our workplaces, where deep work, genuine connection, personal fulfillment become the true, enduring measures of success. We get to decide our pace, based on our own growth, the authentic value we create, focusing on consistently developing ourselves without falling into that comparison trap that so often just robs us of our joy and our direction.
Ultimately, it really does feel like it's about finding your own rhythm in life's grand, complex playlist.
Knowing when to run, when to jog.
And maybe just as importantly, when to pause, reflect, and genuinely appreciate the unique path you're creating.